Hello and welcome to a very special video discussion. We haven't done them for a while, but there is a big reason for why we are doing it now. I'm joined by Mr. Adam Cook. How you doing, mate?
Hey man, alright, how are you?
I'm all right, buddy. I'm quite excited because this is a video chat on Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition for the PlayStation 5.
I assume that's why you said special chat. It's very special.
Special chat, yeah. I didn't even think of it, but
No.
you know. But
Works.
Must have known. Yes. So, right, let's get into it. This is Devil May Cry 5 with all the DLC from the game when it came out on PS4. So there's a lot to discuss. So first off, we know PS5 looks better with all these new games coming out. But how does Devil May Cry 5 look? Because I mean, the PS4 version looked incredible, like at the time.
So that's a great way to start, because the thing is, I'm one of these people that I think there's always room for improvement, but I do think that in terms of visual fidelity, we are very quickly approaching, not necessarily a peak, but a kind of diminishing returns situation, because playing, and this is a preview, so this is not my final impressions of the game. In a preview sense, obviously, it reminded me of how damn fine that game looked. I played on Xbox One X, and it looked really nice. So what you've got here is that game with a bunch of options in terms of fidelity and performance. You've got basically you can play as Vergil now, which is coming to the old gen versions, but as paid DLC.
Yes.
Vergil plays. It's insane. Like I think you reviewed the game for us. Originally,
yeah.
And like Vergil. As you progress through the game normally, you kind of... Because I always felt with this game, as much as I played all the DMC games and I love this genre of game, I always felt that this one actually seems to not actually explain itself as well tutorial-wise. Like, there are tutorials, but I find they're quite confusing, and if you've never played one before, you would be like, sorry, do what? Like, I felt like the button combinations are quite natural to you if you've played them, but as a newcomer, I don't think they explain themselves very well. But as you do progress, and you unlock other characters and play as other characters as the halfway point, I'm not going to spoil it because there might be people playing this new. A certain character becomes available to you, and here's like when you get the motorbike attack, for example, and that's not a spoiler because you won't know what that means. All of a sudden the combat it goes from a fairly insane, brilliant game to just like it just goes up a notch.
Yeah,
so I would say imagine that. Then imagine the kind of Spinal Tap, no, but this goes to 11. Because Vergil is ridiculous, and people are going to really enjoy playing as him with his combo abilities and weapon interchange, and there's all these... There's a lot been added for his combat. In terms of the actual PlayStation 5 version, and again, this is not my final impressions... There are multiple options here. Like there is the 120 frames per second option, which is exactly what it sounds like. And I think, and this is something you're going to hear a lot from our coverage of the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X. Indeed, is that 120 frames per second. The ability to do that as a console does not mean you will get 120 frames. It means you can get. There are some games you can actually push harder than that. But also there are very few TVs that currently support that. And if you're lucky enough to have that or a monitor, I have a monitor for testing 120 frame stuff, and it of course looks ridiculous. You're sort of you're trading a little bit of visual, I guess, quality in terms of the textures for just that an overall smoother thing. Although the jump from 30 to 60 is bigger, and it sounds weird, but it is bigger than 60 to 120 because 60, I think, is still the sweet spot. So in terms of that, there are two other options available. One is, I guess, basically a performance with ray tracing on, and that's something worth mentioning. The ray tracing, I nearly talked about other games and I can't just yet, but ray tracing in this game, it does add something. What I would also say is, it tells you this, that by turning the ray tracing modes on, by turning it like the PS4 Pro, you can switch between, it's a 4K checkerboard of whatever, it's a kind of 4K image with 60 frames or thereabouts, or it's going to be definitely 4K with attempting to get to 60 frames. I haven't noticed a frame drop yet, and I deliberately tried to play in 4K mode to see how much better it looks on a console that can do native 4K.
Yeah.
I haven't noticed any frame drops, and I feel like it's the kind of game you would notice frame drops because of the combat.
Of course. This is the thing, because I remember playing it, and it was just like the amount of things happening on screen were crazy, and I just thought I wouldn't be able to cope if it was any kind of faster or the frame rate was faster and stuff. So I'm really excited to see how it performs in the highest mode of frame rate, especially because it's incredible. And visually, like the drop in fidelity, is it massively noticeable? I mean, it still clearly looks amazing.
So I'm playing on a 55-inch OLED LG, not the brand new like one with all the HDMI 2.1, the one that most people bought a year or two ago. Yeah. And I accidentally, I can't remember what I must have been testing, but I'd set the PlayStation 5 to 1080p, I think just to test some other stuff. And I was playing in the same mode, performance mode, fidelity, basically, the 4K mode.
Yeah.
So I was playing that. The footage you're seeing is that, but at 1080p because I totally forgot to reset it. There is some 4K footage I captured. I haven't decided yet the video I put together what I'll use it for, because I would like to show it in 4K, but we can I'll capture more and we'll show the full 4K-ness, if you will, for the review video.
Of course,
But there's more to it. Like, the PlayStation 5 offers other things, and I've talked about this in like our Astrobot video, the DualSense.
Yeah, this is what I'm excited about as well.
So I kind of had a feeling they would do this, and I'm, as we talk, reading to make sure that I do not break any embargo, but it doesn't mention that. So if you remember, you have you can pull the left trigger in the game to rev your sword.
Yeah.
So you can probably tell where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
So with those adaptive triggers, when you rev your sword, it feels like you're revving like a motorbike on your fingers. Like it gives that, and it's these little things that. Yeah, all right. Look, I'm not saying you must play it again because the left trigger or L2 now feels. It's just it's an additional thing combined with the fact that the rumble in the PS5 DualSense is just better overall than most controllers I've experienced. It just makes, I don't know, man. It just feels like one of those games where I forgot how good it was as well. Like I really did forget how good it was. It's
I think the
superb.
The technological improvements help with stuff like this, because it's like the same as watching, I don't know, the Avengers on an HD ready TV, an older TV, and watching it in like ultra HD. Like then you want to then watch all films like that in that quality. So that's that. The Devil May Cry is one of those standout games that looks amazing, and the fact that you get to then play it with a better performing console, like that is going to tempt a lot of people back to play it. Definitely me.
Yeah. I mean, I was going to look at this just because it's a PlayStation 5 game, and I'm probably going to go through it again all the way through. I'm going to play through as Vergil. And I guess we'll talk more about like final impressions. It's a weird one because it's still Devil May Cry 5, and like the review of that game is on the site. This special edition, we'll probably do video on it and talk about sort of more final thoughts. But yeah, I'm enjoying. Yeah. I haven't finished it. I'm intending to. There's a lot to play at the moment, but I am thoroughly enjoying playing through this game. It does not feel like an old gen game at all.
Oh, that's exciting stuff, man. Well, if you liked watching this video and listen to us chat, you can go on godisthegeek.com. Adam, thanks for joining me, mate.
You're most welcome, mate.
And take care, listeners. Bye-bye.
Oh, you're eating garbage now? That's a weird taste.